Hey, welcome back to Party Chat Sports. I'm your host today, Drew Nelson, with a new segment that we're doing. We've done a couple episodes of it so far. Gail did it last week, and I believe Dylan had one before that. If not, then Gail started it off. I can't even remember. Sorry, Dylan. Anyways, what we do is we pick a parlay bet for this slate of NFL games, and we let you know our thoughts. So, without any further ado, let me get into my picks of the week. First, I'm going the Lions money line. The Ravens are currently favored against the Lions. The Lions have been impressive. The Ravens have not. If you listen to the podcast, that's kind of my opinion on the Ravens is just they keep finding a way to win games, which you can say is good, but they just haven't really looked like a great team, whereas I think the Lions have. They've other than their Seahawks loss, which was even still an overtime loss, they've really looked impressive. They've played some good teams in the Chiefs, and they just played the Bucks, who aren't a great team, but they're pretty solid, and they're sitting at 5-1. So it's in Baltimore. So obviously the home team gets a little bit of an advantage when it comes to spreads and who's favored and who's not, but I think the Lions take it easily there. My next bet is in the Raiders and Bears game. I think Davante Adams to score an anytime touchdown should be a lock, especially after his little rant this week about he needs the ball more, he needs to be more involved in the offense. I think they're gonna try to get him a touchdown or try to get him more involved. Going up against a Bears defense that's not very good, I think Davante Adams can take advantage of that and score a touchdown. So I don't think he stays with the Raiders. I don't know that necessarily helps him, feel better about being on the Raiders. But anyways, I think he's getting a touchdown this week. Moving on, the next game is going to be the Bills and the Patriots. I picked Josh Allen have over 1.5 touchdowns. I think that one's pretty passing touchdowns, by the way. I think that one's pretty doable, considering the Patriots have been miserable. The Cowboys smoked them 30, I think it was 35-3 or something like that. The Saints beat them 34-0. So I think the Bills and Josh Allen should be able to have their way. Now it seems like, the Bills didn't have a great game against the Giants. So maybe another one of those happens. The Bills didn't have a great game against the Jags, but I think Josh Allen can bounce back, have a good game, and it's only 2 passing touchdowns. So I think he's definitely capable of that. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So going up against a team that the Patriots just for whatever reason, mostly due to defensive injuries and Mac Jones being miserable, Josh Allen should be able to take advantage of that and throw over 2 touchdowns. Up next is I have the Chargers versus the Chiefs. I have the Chargers to cover the spread. The spread is 5.5. Most of their games are close games. They're like last fourth quarter field goal games. I think the Chargers will be able to do that. I actually picked the Chargers to win in our pick'ems this week. So obviously if they win, they'll cover. But I've got the Chargers to cover this week. I think it'll be a good game. The Chiefs have kind of the same way with the Ravens. They've been winning games. They're 5-1, but they don't really have any sort of dominant games. I kind of thought that this Broncos game for them last week would have been that, going up against the worst defense in the league, and they only won 19-9, which a win's a win, but you kind of want to see a little bit more out of that offense. Getting Mecole Hardman back, I don't think does anything for them. Maybe there's some chemistry there between him and Mahomes because they played together for a while, but even when he was on the Chiefs, he was kind of a gadget player, or just kind of like maybe once a game he'd have a long catch or some sort of crazy run or something like that, because he is fast. But I'm sure Andy Reid knows how to use him, but still I don't think he's a difference maker necessarily. So the Chargers lost to the Cowboys last week, but go Cowboys. But they played pretty well. At the end of the day, you see like the Cowboys and the Chargers. it's possible for both teams to play good, and one team just has to lose. I think the Chargers played pretty well. They need to get Eckler in the game more. I think the Cowboys defense actually did a good job at locking up Eckler. And if you look at the season, just to not get too carried away, but if you look at the season, the Cowboys have been pretty good at stopping the run other than against the Cardinals. So hopefully Eckler can get some more action this week, both in the run game and in the pass game. The Chargers defense looked pretty good for the most part. They were really good against the run. So hopefully they can keep Mahomes in check. If they take Pacheco out of the game, hopefully they can get some stops to the air, and that'll allow them to cover the spread. Keep the game close. That's all I need. Keep the game close. So, and finally, I have the Miami Dolphins to cover. They're currently projected. The Eagles are favored, so I have the Dolphins to cover 3. Which is a field goal, so close game. Or if they win, which I personally think they have a good chance to win. The Eagles have one of the, I don't want to say one of the, but if their weakness on the defense are their DBs, and obviously the Dolphins' strength are their wide receivers and speed. So Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle should be able to have a day back there running around. Even if, Mostert gets into the secondary, if I don't think a chance playing, but the speed on the Dolphins should be able to take advantage of the Eagles secondary if they can get there. Obviously, the Eagles have a great defensive line. The Dolphins' offensive line, I don't think, is like one of the better groups in the league, but I don't think they're doing too bad this year. So I've got the Dolphins to cover, and that'll do it for this week. We'll see how that works. The odds are plus 3,830. I'm using the Barstool Sportsbook app. So quite a large I don't know how to say it, large odds to overcome here this week. I really don't think any of these are too unreasonable. Maybe I think probably if you were gonna pick which bet is the worst, you might say Chiefs over Chargers. I know a lot of people don't think. Well, my bet was Chargers to cover, but I know a lot of people think that the Chargers aren't very good. And obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They got Mahomes, who's the best quarterback in the league. So that's probably the worst bet on there, but the one that's going to take the most to hit. I think the easiest bet, if I was going to pick one, is probably Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdowns, passing touchdowns. Just because of how bad the Patriots have been lately. I mean, they let Derek Carr and the Saints cook them for 34, and they scored 0. And we saw this week on Thursday, just 2 days ago, how bad the Saints are. Well, I'll take that back a little bit. They did almost, come back and tie it up against the Jags if it weren't for a drop touchdown in the end zone. But they still didn't look very impressive. They haven't looked impressive all year except for that Patriots game. So I'm counting on Josh Allen to be able to throw some touchdowns. I'll be sure to maybe on Twitter let you know how it went. I threw down 20 on it. The payout is pretty substantial. It's 786 if it hits. So that'll be a nice little chunk of change if I am right. Well, let us know what your picks are for this week. Go over on X. Let us know. Find a TikTok video. And post in the comments, comment on this video or any of our other YouTube videos. Let us know what you think. Let us know how dumb you think I am or how smart you think I am. So until next time, we'll have an episode coming up next week to review the games. Obviously, Gail has his Monday morning drive, so look out for that. Until next time, I'll see you. Go Cowboys.